The last 12 months, it's actually been perhaps the hardest year in business that I've had so far. But then, of course, I want to share with you how I got my mojo back. It would be easy for you and me and anyone else to look at our favorite marketers, our favorite entrepreneurs, our favorite business people, and just assume that they've got it all together. Could not be further from the truth. You just find that you're just caught with your pants down, and you get to a point where you're like, what am I doing? I've built a Frankenstein of a business, and I'm stuck and I'm trapped. We have completely whitewashed the business, started again. Our front-end acquisition and traffic strategies completely changed. The way we acquire clients completely changed. Our back-end scenario completely changed. The systems, the operation, everything's getting a refresh. We've learned more in the last 60 days than we have done in the last potentially even 60 months. I am on fire. I am so excited about my business. I'm so excited about where we're going. I'm so excited about the projects that we're running. I have bought my time back. If you're currently feeling overwhelmed in your business, you're feeling like you're getting left behind, you're getting drowned out, you're not staying ahead of the curve, AI feels overwhelming, you're not sure how to respond to it, you're over-leveraged in any area of your life or your business, or you're feeling trapped in some way, shape or form in your own business, it might be worth thinking about whether there's a big move that you need to make instead of lots of little ones. Hey, it's John here. Welcome back to the Expansion Podcast. And this episode and the next couple to follow are going to be much shorter, snappier, more bite-sized, because what I promised when I launched this podcast is that I would be honest, an open book, and truly share with you the behind the scenes. And that means not just sharing the glamorous stuff and the stuff that's working, but actually sharing when things aren't going well. And so I've got some notes that I'm going to take us through in this next few episodes. And I want to share with you what the last year has looked like in me and my business, how I've felt, what has changed, how it's actually been perhaps the hardest year in business that I've had so far. But then, of course, I want to share with you how I got my mojo back, because more recently we have completely whitewashed the business, started again, and everything is great. In fact, it's better than it's been in a very, very long time. So that being said, let's dive straight in, and I hope that you've got some things that you can learn from my experience. So let's start here. The last 12 months has been an absolute whirlwind. You know, what people don't tell you when you're listening to the marketing gurus online and buying courses and watching people's YouTube channels and following people on Instagram is you see just that. You see the Instagram version of someone, or you see the Instagram version of a business. And of course, people like talking about the good stuff and they don't talk about the bad stuff. And so it would be easy for you and me and anyone else to look at our favorite marketers, our favorite entrepreneurs, our favorite business people, and just assume that they've got it all together, that their businesses are always just functioning really well. Because why would we think anything else? Because there's nothing else that we hear. The reality is scaling a business is really darn hard. And it goes through these kind of waves. And one of the waves gives you a false sense of security for the next. Allow me to explain. For you to go, for me to go, for anyone to go from zero, meaning no business, no product, no personal brand, no authority, no nothing, and to get to a 6-figure per year business, that is super hard. The very first stage is incredibly hard. To get that first client, which in turn means that you found your first marketing funnel that's working, your first traffic source that feels repeatable. You've got a sales process that's working. And of course, you've got an offer that someone actually wanted to say yes to. That's a big milestone. Then to replicate that a few times, to get to 100 grand a month in a business, a job replacing income, the coveted position that most budding entrepreneurs want to get to. And quite sadly, you know, the vast majority of people that try to reach that trophy never actually get there. It's because it's super hard. Now, here's the thing that's interesting. To go from 6 figures to 7 figures, I actually found that quite fun. I actually have found that a lot of my clients find that quite fun. And in turn, I don't want to necessarily say it's easy, but it's certainly a lot easier than going from 0 to 6, because essentially what you're doing is you've gotten over the first hurdle that's really tricky. You found some stuff that's working, and so now to go from 6 to 7, it's almost just rinsing and repeating. You're just doing more of the same. You're doing more of what worked and scaling it to 10x it from 6 figures to 7 figures. Here comes the wave, okay? The next wave is to go from 7 figures to 8 figures. And we find ourselves in territory that is super hard yet again. But here's the kicker, it creeps up on you. You have this false sense of security. You went through that initial 0 to 6, and then that was super hard. Then you went from 6 to 7, and it felt easier and felt exciting, and you're having fun, and everything's great. So then it almost feels like, well, just to go from 7 to 8, surely that's just more of the same yet again. Could not be further from the truth. And so before you realize that it's hard, you're already too deep in it, and you've already made a whole bunch of clumsy mistakes that I did, and it's actually really hard to recover from it. So let me share some of this with you, and hopefully, like I say, you'll learn some things from my experience, but also where I'm going now. So the problems that creep in. Number one is to go from 7 to 8 actually becomes more about systems and team. So you're not doing the same stuff that got you to 7 figures. 7 figures is being really good at marketing and sales. There's a little bit of team building in there, but it's just being epic at marketing and sales. Whereas to go from 7 to 8, it's actually, this is the stuff that they don't tell you. It's almost nothing to do with marketing and sales. It's actually all to do with building the right systems, repeatable systems in the business, and building a team that can run and operate those systems and provide value into that ecosystem. Second thing that can catch you, and it's already too late by the time you realize, is your day becomes filled with just nonsense and stuff that you don't want to do. And so what got you into this business and the things that you love doing, you are completely drowned out by the noise of the stuff that now has got your attention, but you don't really want that to be the stuff that's got your attention. We're talking about admin, we're talking about operations, we're talking about firefighting, we're talking about disputes, we're talking about all sorts of stuff that creeps up. And what ends up happening is that actually becomes your full day. And you just find that you're just caught with your pants down, and you get to a point where you're like, what am I doing? I've built a Frankenstein of a business, and I'm stuck and I'm trapped. So that's how it can make you feel. And I found myself, when I said that it takes, it's almost like it's gone too far by the time you realize. Here's exactly what happened for me. I had a whole number of things going on at the same time. The stuff that I just mentioned there, having my day just filled with stuff that is not really my zone of genius. And by the way, that also means that the fun and the joy and the creativity of your day is being sucked away. And there's only so long that can continue too. And there's people that rely on you. When I look at myself, I'm like, I'm a leader, and there are people that rely on me being in the right seat, operating in the right way, because that's going to have a ripple effect to make sure that other people are taken care of. So I see the weight, and I feel the weight of the responsibility of being a strong leader for my team. So what happened for me? Well, we're trying to grow and scale the business. We're operating at multi-7 figures. We're moving towards 8 figures, and the closer we got to 8 figures in a year, the more I just found myself in the spot that I just described. And it's because we had a whole bunch of stuff going on at the same time that was stealing my focus and actually making things quite challenging. The first was I had overextended on our cash position and our cash allocation. We had a few things going at the same time. We had an office purchase and renovation that was going on, and so that was costing north of £1 million to put that on. We were also at the same time moving towards running our annual marketing conference that's called AdCom. It's an incredible conference. We pull out all the stops. It's actually one of the most exciting parts of the year for me and my team. But we really do pull out all the stops. And so that costs, again, almost £1 million to run that event. But it is epic, and you should definitely come. You can go to adcon.co.uk and check out the dates for next year. At the same time, I'm bankrolling the development of our software platform called Funneler. That's costing me a few $100,000. And then there's a whole bunch of other bitsy things, 50K here, 100K here. There's just stuff going on all over the place. Caught with my pants down on the cash. Second thing Lots of changes in team and leadership. As you're scaling, I said it becomes about systems and team. And so we're hiring new team members and we're trying different things out. If you're trying 30 things at the same time, the idea is that, 20 of those 30 are going to be great decisions. 10 are going to be bad decisions, but the good decisions outweigh the bad. It's a bit like investing, right? But, now imagine I've got 30 things that I'm testing and trying at the same time, and there's just very few of them are actually working. And so the good decisions are being shadowed by the bad decisions. And so that just leaves me firefighting and not spending enough time on the things that I'm great at and that the business needs me for. And it's just kind of one step forward, two steps back. So that's how the last year has been, how it's felt. And it's an interesting one. Now, how do we respond to these types of scenarios? Well, you have to be tough as an entrepreneur. And again, it's the stuff that people don't tell you. They make it sound so juicy and sexy, starting a business. And it's worth it. Absolutely, it's worth it. But it's certainly not an easy path to walk, right? It takes the right mindset. It takes an appetite for risk. And when challenges come, like the ones I'm describing right now, it takes a resilience, and it's a challenging resilience, because it's not a resilience that you have to have because your boss is telling you to have it. It's a resilience that you have to birth from yourself because no one else is coming to save you. So it's really interesting position to be in. So what did I do? What was my response to all of this? Well, there were lots of little things that we were doing to try and course correct, but some of this stuff had just gone too far, and it was beyond a course correction. And so I actually decided that what I need to do is scale back the business, scale back the expenses in the business, and quite frankly, lean up as much as possible. So we hit the brakes on aggressive ad spend. We're spending so much on paid ad traffic, and it just wasn't efficient, or not as efficient as it could be. But again, if you're just making these small course corrections, then you're not seeing these big leaps forward in performance. You're seeing these minor leaps forward, and that just wasn't cutting it. I needed to, and this was a sad decision, really tough one. Thought about it for months and months and months, but I needed to remove some of the new senior members of team that I had hired, and I also needed to significantly reduce the size of the team. Again, really, really hard decisions, really hard conversations, but ultimately it's what I needed to do. If you can see in the horizon, and this is what we have to have as entrepreneurs and leaders and business owners, is we need to be able to have a future view. We need to have to look down the path, not just look at our feet for today. We have to look a month in the future, a year in the future, 5 years in the future. We have to see what's the path, the trajectory that we're on, and make the best decisions today to have a fruitful future. And so if you imagine a ship is sinking and you've got a whole bunch of people on it, what good is it trying to save everyone if everyone's going to sink and drown? I had to lighten the load so that the ship could float and sail off into the sunset. So that was a really tough decision, but one that I needed to make. So dramatic decisions, but where's that left us? Where am I now? Well, in short, I guess I would describe it as I've got my mojo back. I am on fire. I am so excited about my business. I'm so excited about where we're going. I'm so excited about the projects that we're running. I have bought my time back by removing some of the expense and removing some of the team, actually. That just naturally means less meetings, less management, less stuff going on. And so I've got time to be creative again, which is where the business needs me. That needs to be my focus. And I'm happier now, more creative, more excited, more driven, and I've essentially given the business a complete whitewash. Being able to kind of step back like that and make such a big move gives me the opportunity to rethink everything that we're doing. And so I've almost changed our entire business model. Our front end acquisition and traffic strategies completely changed. The way we acquire clients completely changed. Our back-end scenario completely changed. The systems, the operation, everything's getting a refresh. And the business feels in the best place it's been for a long time. And I'm really, really proud of the team that we've got in place now. And so it's just epic. The last 60 days, we've learnt more and when I say learn, I mean the data that we're bringing into the business to make good decisions on. We've learned more in the last 60 days than we have done in the last potentially even 60 months. So we're able to move fast and make really, really good decisions. So what's the takeaway for you? If you're listening to this, you might be thinking, John, that was interesting. How do I apply this to myself? Well, I guess the encouragement would be, if you're currently feeling overwhelmed in your business, you're feeling like you're getting left behind, you're getting drowned out, you're not staying ahead of the curve, AI feels overwhelming, you're not sure how to respond to it, you're over-leveraged in any area of your life or your business, or you're feeling trapped in some way, shape, or form in your own business, it might be worth thinking about whether there's a big move that you need to make instead of lots of little ones. Maybe you're trying to just course correct in various areas of your business, and perhaps you're going to have to take a moment to step back, assess the bigger picture. Maybe, like me, there's a big move that you need to make, not just a little one. So hopefully you found this episode interesting, helpful, insightful, but we're not done there. I'm going to see you in the next episode. You may as well go straight to it, because we're going to talk about some of the things that I'm changing now in the business, that I've given this a fresh approach, and we're finding our client acquisition is more seamless and more effortless than it's been before. And I want to share with you some of those big insights, and that'll be coming in the next couple of episodes. So I will see you there.